Call of Duty Advanced Warfare has an ESRB rating of M for mature. That's 17 and over for blood and gore, drug references, intense violence, and strong language.
Sentinel 01, the carrier is almost clear of the bridge.
Drones!
Take them out! Take them out!
Drones! Look out! Get back, everyone! Get back! Move! 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 Get off the bridge! Get off the bridge! Look out! It's giving way!
Hello everyone, thank you for joining me on another episode of Is It Worth It? And on today's spotlight I have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and share the video. Again, my name is Rox, your host of the show, and so please sit back, relax, and enjoy the review. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is the new game by the new team getting involved called Sledgehammer Games. Alongside with Infinity Ward and Treyarch, they have now created their own title for the series. Like many of you, I was wondering if finally this game would make a comeback with a fresh new team behind it. But does this title deliver a new gaming experience or fall back to the mundane gameplay that is plaguing the series? Well, here are my thoughts. Starting with the campaign, as far as presentation, the game looks great and beautiful. Some images I couldn't even tell if they were real life or CG. I played on the Xbox One, so I don't know if it makes a big difference in the last gen consoles, but in the new, they look crisp and sharp. The voice acting is great, along with the game's directing. It's well executed and presented that you do get immersed into the story. The story doesn't have that many characters, and that also feels personal and close, so you're not lost in the big conspiracy story arc.
Always count on him to keep me in line.
Let me start off with that. The campaign was fun and interesting, enough for me to follow through to the end. You play as Private Mitchell, who in battle you lose your arm and your best friend to combat. The year is sometime in the future and there's a war going on with North Korea. At your best friend's funeral, you meet Jonathan Irons, played by Kevin Spacey, who I think did a great job playing this character, and his facial capture was also impressively rendered. So Irons enlists you into his program or company called Atlas, a corporation in the Army for hire business, using high-tech equipment for advanced warfare.
What you're seeing is advanced warfare. Atlas has the single largest standing military in the world, but we answer to no country. Unlike the government, we don't keep secrets of our capabilities. We don't sell policy, we sell power. We are a superpower for hire.
They give you this new arm, and they train you to use this high-tech equipment and send you off to do missions to which the company was hired to do. Somewhere along the way, you and your comrades discover that Irons has a hidden agenda, and now your savior has become your enemy, and you fight back to try to stop him. The story is very cliche. Master teaches students, student betrayed by master, student seeks revenge, and honestly you see it coming from a mile away. But honestly, none of this matters because all you really care about is the fun factor in the gameplay. The gunplay is good. Hit detection always worked fine, but not everything worked perfectly. For instance, the threat grenades. They are these frags that once thrown, they hover in mid-air for a second, lock onto an enemy, and then fly towards them to blow up. The thing is that sometimes they wouldn't lock onto the enemy group that I actually threw it at. Sometimes they would fly off in a completely different direction I never intended them to go. So that would be frustrating sometimes. Also, I have to say that the COD franchise refuses to change gameplay, and what I mean about that is that if you played the previous titles, then you played this one. They make no effort to bring co-op multiplayer to their campaign. The entire gameplay is a linear path where every situation is forced on you, whether it be combat or escape. It's just a straight line, and whatever happens is already predetermined by the developers. I think that the last time we actually had campaign co-op was COD World at War, but since then, it's been gone. Why can't the series evolve? Here we are entering a new generation of hardware, and COD refuses to make changes to add a different style of gameplay to the franchise. This game still has many moments where you breach a door with slow motion, and you make sure you take out the enemy and not the hostages, quick time events that are just outdated, and of course the follow scenarios where you make sure you don't get seen by the enemy and you move very stealthy through the entire chapter. For those of you who remember playing COD 4 Modern Warfare, the very first one, that sniper chapter where you followed that one guy through the overgrown grass and you snuck by the enemy was one of the best parts of that game. It was new and different. Well, since then, that scenario has been overused and overplayed in all of the COD campaign games. And this game is just as guilty. This is what I mean when I say that the game refuses to change. A lot of the scenarios are repeated and it just feels tired and old. Sometimes the game doesn't even want you in control, like in this sequence. You see the flying camera maneuvering through the vents and windows, tagging enemy. You are never in control of this device in this part, but when you do get control, all you can do is spin in circles around this meeting. You're in a rail going around and around. That's it. And this happened later in the game again with hovering bikes. At first you have no control, but later in the chapter, in the escape, all you can do is move left or right to avoid from crashing into obstacles. I never really had full control of the vehicle, and before you know it, the event is over and you never use them again. It just seems like a wasted opportunity. By the way, this happens to all the vehicle-ridden chapters. You never have full control of them, nor are you in control of how you want to execute the objective. For instance, the jetpack is the big selling point for this game, right? Well, guess what? In the campaign, the jetpack is never used in some chapters. Instead, they introduce a grappling hook that pulls you to rooftops and pull enemy towards you for a silent takedown. Sometimes you can't even use either because the chapter requires a different tactic. So what? Aren't we in the next generation of gaming? You are constantly being held through the entire gameplay by the hand. Why does COD refuse to change or trust the gamer to figure it out? Look, despite of Sledgehammer reusing the same tactics and gameplay, the experience was still entertaining. The COD campaigns have always been over-the-top action like you've seen in blockbuster films, and forced emotional drama that just seems kind of soap opera-ish, and it's a fun adrenaline rush. However, I just think that the series needs to reboot its gameplay mechanics and make them more open world and open choice. They added this feature in the campaign where after each mission, depending on how many side challenges you completed and intel laptops you found, it earns you points to where you could spend them in the EXO upgrade menu. Here you can upgrade your character's abilities and perks for the next chapter. They have abilities like longer sprint, extra grenades, batteries, and weapon abilities. Honestly, I really kind of found this useless, or I really maybe didn't really notice much of a difference. It wasn't anything huge during gameplay. And like I mentioned before, you can collect Intel laptops that are hidden in almost every chapter. Other than that, there really isn't anything else going on in the campaign. There are only 3 existing game modes, campaign, multiplayer, and horde co-op. I heard recently that there is a zombie mode, but only available through a purchase as a DLC, or it might be free, but I'm not really sure, so don't hold me to it. Now the multiplayer. Before I begin, let me bring up my thoughts on COD Ghosts. When I reviewed that game, I was pretty disappointed with the multiplayer. I had accused Infinity Ward of not thinking outside of the box and not being original with their multiplayer maps. Later it seemed that all of their best creativity of multiplayer features and imagination came in the form of DLC packages. Honestly, their packages of maps seemed unique and worthwhile, unlike their base maps that were available with the game immediately. I bring this up because I feel the same way about the map settings in Advanced Warfare. They seem really uninspiring and bland of colors, and they're just There is a huge difference in settings compared to the beautiful settings within the campaign compared to the multiplayer maps. They are just kind of there without much style. I haven't found a map that I call my favorite because they're all kind of weak in environment sense. The designs are well done, especially for the verticality that the jetpacks bring to the game. The jetpacks do add to the COD multiplayer experience because unlike the previous titles where you only have straight paths, here you can come from the top or bottom, opening various ways for maneuvering for some awesome gunplay and gameplay. However, remember that grapple? It's not in the multiplayer. Do you see what I'm talking about? COD refuses to change and then it limits itself from great gaming potential. Now I don't know if all this will become available in later DLC, but I'm reviewing the base game, so I have to deliver a price point of what it packages at its release. As far as features worth mentioning is that you do have a choice of choosing male or female soldiers, but the looks are predetermined. The only thing that you can customize is their outfit, that are again predetermined in style and in color. It's really limited. The outfits are just for cosmetics. I haven't found any advantages in any of the outfits though. They are also using the COD Blacklist point system to load up gear. There are many game modes to choose from and challenges to complete. It's actually quite overwhelming, but I'm sure there are some hardcore players out there that can breeze through it like nothing. Not me though, because I have a day job. So is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare worth it? Well, aside from me picking it apart for the overly done gameplay and tired scenarios, it is still fun to some degree. The COD veterans are going to feel like me, bored and tired of the same shit, but the new COD recruits, if you will love this game. Advanced Warfare is basically COD Halo Edition, Timefall Edition, Destiny Edition, whatever edition. Advanced Warfare takes a bit from all those games and puts it here. I think the game is fun, and if you paid full price for it, like $60, you will get your money's worth, because the replayability is high. But for the veterans like myself, you might want to wait for a price drop to get past the buyer's remorse. I suggest that $39.99. $40 is cool for this game. It's tired, but still worth a small purchase. Alright guys, if you guys are interested in the opinions of other sites, here they are. Okay everyone, thanks for joining again. I hope you found this review helpful, and if you did, please leave me a like or a dislike. Also keep an eye out for upcoming reviews. I'm trying to bat out as many as I possibly can and as fast as I can. If you guys want to interact with me, leave me a comment or follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or Twitch. Hope you guys have a good one. My name is Rox, and I'll catch up with you guys next time.
Okay.
You got any ideas?
Just one.